Welcome to the Peaceful Parenting Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Rosensweet, mom of 3 young people, peaceful parenting coach, and your cheerleader and guide on all things parenting. Each week, we'll cover the tools, strategies, and support you need to end the yelling and power struggles and encourage your kids to listen and cooperate so that you can enjoy your family time. I'm happy to say we have a great relationship with our 3 kids. The teen years have been easy and joyful, not because we're special unicorns, but because my kids were raised with peaceful parenting. I've also helped so many parents just like you stop struggling and enjoy their kids again. I'm excited to be here with you today and bring you the insight and information you need to make your parenting journey a little more peaceful. Let's dive into this week's conversation. Hey y'all, before we dive into our coaching call with Daniel, I just wanted to let you know that my parenting course, Peaceful Parenting course, Transform Your Family Life, is right now available. I only offer this twice a year. We go through it together, and it includes office hours with me so that while you're going through it, you can ask all of your questions and really get some super support from me and from the community. It's a 10-module course. Right now, you can sign up for it at sarahrosensweet.com/parenting course, and it goes over everything from how to stay calm to how to set limits, best practices for siblings, and really how to help your kids develop a great relationship. We talk about building a strong parenting partnership and how you can improve your relationship through this course. We also have modules on meltdowns and big feelings and temperaments, and it's a really fantastic course. It's all broken down into bite-sized pieces because the feedback I heard from you, and something that you really don't like about courses, is when they're overwhelming, there's too much to do, and you always feel like you're behind. You're never going to feel that way with this course. And you know what? There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you sign up and decide that it's not for you, I will cheerfully give you your money back if you showed me that you've done the course and it's just not working for you. So you have nothing to lose. Give it a try. It's sarahrosensweet.com/parenting course. And I just wanted to share with you some feedback that I got from a parent who took the course. And this is from Wanda, who's a parent of actually 2 older kids. And this course is really appropriate for parents of children ages 2 through 12. If you have older kids, you can still adjust it to suit your needs. I really did design it, though, for parents of kids ages 2 through 12. So Wanda said to me her complete thoughts on my website, but she said to me this course wasn't just helpful, it changed our lives. So if you want to experience that, check it out, sarahrosensweet.com/parenting course. The doors are open right now. As I said, I only offer this twice a year, and you can sign up for it right now. We start on Wednesday, August 17th. The first module drops. And if you are listening to this after the fact, you can go to that same page and get on a wait list to be notified the next time I am offering the course. So again, I hope to see you inside. It is a really wonderful, fabulous course, and I don't just say that myself. On that page, you'll see lots of comments from parents who have taken the course. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, let's hear from Daniel. Today's episode is a coaching call with Daniel. Daniel is the father of 2 children, and he has been practicing peaceful parenting for a little while, and he's made a lot of progress and had a lot of growth on his journey. And he came to me because he was feeling frustrated that his wife was not only not doing peaceful parenting, but she was actively resistant and very uninterested in becoming a peaceful parent. And he was finding that really disheartening and frustrating, and it was causing a lot of tension in the household. I gave him some suggestions, and he went away, and then we caught up again in a few weeks, and he let us know how things were going for him. So be sure to stick around to the end to hear his update. If this is something that you struggle with, I also have another podcast episode you might be interested in, which is episode 19, when your partner is not on board with peaceful parenting. You might want to check that out. And if you are interested in getting some support from me, you can sign up for a free short consult or a coaching session. The link is on my website, sarahrosensweet.com. You'll also find a ton of resources there as well to help you on your parenting journey. Again, to book some coaching with me or to find some more resources to help you out, go to sarahrosensweet.com. Let's meet Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm well. It's really nice to meet you.
Same.
Can you tell us just a little bit, you're Daniel, and how old are your kids?
Oh, I have 2 girls. One is 9 and the other is 15 just now,
Okay.
a couple
So
of weeks.
teenage years.
Yes.
My daughter's 15 as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just getting into that world of the teenage, and it's been interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Well, you have lots of practice for when your other daughter's a teenager.
Yeah.
So, how can I support you today, Daniel?
Well, the I've been trying to learn as much as possible from many sources, and reading and studying, sometimes even taking courses and stuff like that. So I can. This is the first time I'm having kids, and this is late in my life. So I've been trying to do a feeling, trying to do as much more knowledge as possible. Most knowledge as possible, and so I've been applying different things that I learned, especially the staying calm, staying present, and that has worked a lot in many ways. And I learned a lot how to regulate myself, and how to put things in perspective, stuff like that, especially with the teens. But I've been trying to bring my partner into all this learning and all this. It's fascinating. I love it. I have fascination for the knowledge that we have available today that our parents didn't have a clue compared to what we have now. But she has kind of an aversion to psychology or to some kind, because she doesn't want to, study or be together in courses, or no, I don't need that, or whatever kind of attitude. So it's been really hard to even. I mean, I send her links, and send her the articles and stuff like that to read, but there's no feedback. There's no like,
Right.
oh yeah, that was a great article. By the way, this
Right.
part or whatever, any comment, just
Yeah.
zero. So it's definitely a no. Send me that,
Yeah.
signals. So that's kind of where I am.
Okay. So you mentioned in the questions I sent you before that you were a yeller until you found peaceful parenting. You used to yell a lot.
Yeah,
And through
no
peaceful
reaction.
parenting, you have improved a lot, it sounds like, in your
Absolutely,
yelling.
yeah.
And so
Mhm.
just I'm just out of my own curiosity, how have you seen that change your relationship with your daughters when you stopped yelling and you've been more self-regulated?
Yeah, immensely. Because part of the yelling is because I didn't know my process, and what was going on in me. I was focusing all outside. So the way I learned it is that focusing on myself and taking care of myself first. So understanding what's going on. And a lot of the time was that I was up to here with stress or other things, nothing to do with the kids.
Hmm.
And that was an easy target to just yell. So now I'm more aware of my own internal process, and how where am I at every moment of the day. And if I feel stressed or something like that, or I'm acting out, I immediately catch it, or almost immediately catch it, and I repair, or I apologize. I say, look, this is what's going on. Sorry for, I shouldn't have.
Hmm.
Nobody has to say something loud to you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So stuff like that. So I learned how to use, repair also, and be aware of my own processes. So
That's amazing. And I mean, especially because you said you were raised with yellers, and you're also, as you said, you're an older dad, and I think the older we get, the harder it is to make changes in our lives, right? Like
yeah,
it's so really, really well done. Like I just met you, but I can say I feel really proud of you that you were
thank you.
able to make those changes.
It's not easy, and
It's not easy at
it's
all,
not
is it?
100% anything either.
Yeah,
So
and it doesn't I always say to parents, self-regulation doesn't mean that you never get upset. It
right.
just means that you learn how to calm yourself when you are upset. So I think that's one thing that's really important for people to know, maybe who are early on this journey. When you're learning to be peaceful, it doesn't mean that you never get upset with anyone, and it doesn't mean that, as you said, when you have stress in your life and your resources are low, it can be really, really challenging not to yell. How have you seen that change your relationship with your daughters?
Well, excellent. Because now what happened, now I reduced the amount of yelling to, let's say, if before was, I don't know, let's put a number, let's say put 100 just as a reference. Now I'm in 20s,
That's great.
So now the difference with mom, in the home is noticeably,
Yeah.
because she is a yeller.
Yeah.
And I noticed also how I became a yeller also, because I was reacting to her stress,
Hmm.
on me, and the whole thing. So now that I'm controlling myself, I kind of see her better from
Hmm.
my point of view. And my daughter, especially, she comes to me, and and I feel like I am like a little bit of an oasis and
Yeah, you feel, yeah, she's yours, her safe place.
safe place. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I can talk to her. She comes to me. Oh, mommy is yelling, and I
yeah,
said, "Oh, that's fine." It's
yeah.
just, and then I
Nice.
have a conversation. So yeah,
Nice. Okay, so this is what in through my years as a coach, and this is what I've seen when one parent is interested in making changes and has become more peaceful. There's always an excitement and a like, come along with me, and like I see how wonderful these changes have been, and I
yeah,
want you to join me. And well, first of all, it's really hard to hear something from your partner in that I know you're not saying you're doing it wrong to her, but that's sort of how she feels, right? Like
hmm,
if she's like a lot of the people that I've worked with, she feels like you, this person that she loves so much that she's spending her life with, she feels like you're saying that she's doing it wrong. And what happens often when we feel like our partner is saying we're doing it wrong, if we have sort of like a little bit of a fragile sense of self-worth that is determined by what other people think of us, we can feel like the sense of shame, right? And so the defense against the shame is there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing,
I
right? Like
see,
that's a defense against the shame is that
I
there's
see,
nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I'm not going to make any changes because to admit otherwise, she might feel like a horrible person, even though you're not saying that. But in her mind, if I could guess, those are the two choices. Either I'm a horrible person and I need to change, or there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing, so I don't need to change. But does that resonate at all? Do you think that's sort of what
makes
what maybe
yeah,
is going on with her?
yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
We never talked about that in particular, but it makes sense.
Well, I think it's going on a subconscious level. Like I don't even think that she would be aware of that, but that resistance is, I think that's where the resistance comes from, is not wanting to feel like a bad person. So I would recommend that you stop trying to get her to come along on the peaceful parenting train and instead focus on just keeping doing yourself what you're doing and modeling the behavior, right? And I think that we have to remember that the peaceful parenting approach is a relationship approach, and it's not just about parenting, like that, all of the focusing on connection and empathizing and delighting in, your child or your partner, making time together, like the adult equivalent of special time, just
Mhm.
taking 15 minutes to have a cup of coffee together and talk about your day or something like that. So, what I would recommend to you is that you really try to focus on your relationship with your wife rather than trying to get her to come along on the peaceful parenting train. And we have to remember, and this is kind of like, I don't mean this to sound like we're being manipulative, but the closer you are to someone, the more influence you have over them
Yeah,
and their relationship, right?
yeah,
So you might find that as you and she feel closer, she might be more open to
hmm,
saying like, hey, tell me some more about this approach, or maybe I will read one of those articles that you sent me. And it can take time. But I think that if you really just focus on the relationship, that's my first recommendation, trying to remember that she's doing the best she can, just like we remember that with our kids, right? Like that everything you've learned about peaceful parenting you can apply to your relationship. She's not giving me a hard time, she's having a hard time. She's doing the best she can. And so just really remembering that. And also, I think trying to empathize with her, even if you feel like she's yelled and that's not what you want and it, hurt your daughter's feelings. But just remember, she yelled because she got hijacked and she doesn't have the tools that you have to like stay calm in those situations. So if you could say, if she yells, and you could say, oh, you must have been so frustrated when our daughter wasn't listening to you. That's so tough. And see if you get a little bit of opening there.
I see. It's interesting what you're saying. It makes absolute sense.
Hmm.
But also, there is a dynamic going inside of me that sometimes stop me from seeing that side that you're mentioning.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's a voice that says, "Well, but she's an adult; she should understand that this." I mean, I'm not. Come
It
on. No, I'm.
I'm laughing because that is 100% the next thing that people usually say when I tell them this. It's like, why, she's a grown up. Like, why do I have to do this?
Right.
And you are so right. Like, she is a grown up. It's not fair that you have to be doing this, and she should be able to, like, get it together herself. And she didn't learn these things when she was growing up. So she's got some lagging skills. And if it's true what I think, that it's kind of a threat to her self-worth to admit that she might need to make some changes, she was probably raised with pretty conditional parenting. Like, you're only good if, or you're only good when, and I only love you when this. And so she might have a little bit of a fragile sense of herself, and this is part of her defense
I see.
against feeling shame. So it is true that, we want our partners to be up to the task and not have to feel like they're a grown up. Why can't they figure this out? But
Mm.
that's not going to get you where you want to go.
I see. That makes sense. Hmm.
Do you think that you might be able to change your mindset a little bit about that?
Well, definitely this is new angle that I have to put in my mix and start kind of looking at it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I made a decision in my relationship with my husband, decade ago, maybe at this point, that instead of getting frustrated with him when he would like lose his cool or whatever with the kids, I would be compassionate with him and try and give him the same sort of compassion that I would give my kids if they were having a hard time. So I really shifted it into my head, like, he's just having a hard time right now. And that really made a big difference, I think.
Nice.
And that's what we have to do for ourselves too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've learned that, I think,
That's
probably in
right.
your
Exactly.
peaceful
That's
parenting journey, that
right.
that if you act in a way that you're not happy with or proud of, beating yourself up about it is not going to help you. But you
That's
really have to be like, oh, I was having such a hard day. I was so stressed out. Like, of course, I, lost my temper and yelled at the kids. And you have to be like gracious and compassionate with yourself if you
that's
want to
right.
do better next time. And
Yes.
so I think offering your partner that same grace and compassion is really the only way that you're going to get her to move closer to you in the way that you want to go with the parenting.
It makes total sense. And as you mentioned, in my head is remembering some moments. That is, that feeling of compassion is so easy for me with my kids. I mean, if they just screw up and were angry, screaming at me, and the moment they realize something, I feel very. I completely change. My anger disappears in a second, and my reactive anger, and then I completely can switch and feel very compassionate for them because I know they're struggling, and they're
Hmm.
trying to find ways, or whatever, or feel hurt or whatever. But it's harder with a partner,
It is. It
Yeah.
is harder with a partner. It's 100% harder. But that is exactly what you need to tap into. What you
Mhm.
just said, that compassion, that when you realize your daughter's having a hard time, not giving you a hard time, if you can try and just give that same compassion to your partner, I think you'll find that that changes a lot.
Mm.
It's not like a push pull thing, right? That we're trying to do with our
Right.
partners. It's like an invitation by like
Mhm.
opening our hearts to
Yeah.
them and recognizing that they are just having a hard time and that's why they're acting the way that they are.
Yeah, it's a soft, kind energy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it involves giving yourself compassion when maybe your partner isn't, acting in a way that you want them to act, and maybe it might even hurt your feelings or make you kind of sad, and giving yourself some compassion in that moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So much going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, do you think you want to go away and try that
Yeah,
and
definitely,
come
definitely.
back? Do you have
Yeah,
any other questions about I
no,
mean, I think just stop sending her things, stop trying
sure.
to bring her on board that way, and
Yeah.
just use all of your peaceful parenting tools that you already have on your relationship with your partner,
Hmm.
and helping, using your calm in the moment and reminding yourself, she's having a really hard time right now. And I'm really interested to hear how this works for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay, good. Well, we'll talk in a few weeks and we'll see how it went.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Sarah. Bye bye.
Hi, Daniel. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hello, Sarah. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to see you again. Tell us how things have been since the last time we talked.
Better. I went and started focusing more on the compassion side, on the try to compassion for myself and also my wife. So and that works definitely.
How did it feel?
Yeah, much better perspective. Not as pressure to make decisions or stay on the case. More stay a
Right.
little off and just let the universe take care of it somehow.
Yeah, I love that. And, I think sometimes when we feel pressure to change a situation, it can actually make things harder.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I'm
Yeah.
noticing. Yeah.
How did your wife respond? Did she notice the extra compassion that you were sending her way?
Yeah. Yeah. She's a bit softer too. So, yeah,
Nice.
everybody is safer.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to share about, anything that you realized or how your last few weeks have been with your new focusing on what you're doing and compassion for yourself and that, the equivalent of that she's not giving you a hard time, she's having a hard time?
Yes. Well, it mostly is that now she has room to maneuver. No, I don't feel. I mean, from in my mind, I don't see her like she's doing it to myself or stuff like that. I'm trying to change the angle, the perspective, and that helped everybody. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely, and the kids too. And yeah,
So feeling a little bit more peaceful at home.
yeah, it seems like it goes in waves, in phases also too. Depends probably how I feel with
That
myself.
makes sense
Hmm.
that happens. Yeah. Ups and downs. 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yes, it's interesting. Yeah, things definitely doesn't go only in one direction.
Well, I hope that things continue to feel better for you. I mean, I think sometimes it's a relief to know that sometimes it's frustrating that the only person that we can change is ourselves because we'd like to change everyone around us. But
Hmm.
sometimes it's a relief that we don't have responsibility for changing anybody else. And also, I think it can be comforting to know that we can still have influence on changing the sort of the tone and temperature of the relationship and the household just by our greater compassion and
Yeah,
empathy and understanding.
I like that. The tone and temperature. I like that.
Hmm.
That's what you're changing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Not the person, but yes, the overall level of intensity of stress and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us that update. I hope things continue to move in a positive direction for you.
Thanks. Yeah. I'll keep you posted.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. I hope you found this conversation insightful and exactly what you needed in this moment. Be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Remember that I'm rooting for you. I see you out there showing up for your kids and doing the best you can. Sending hugs over the airwaves today. Hang in there. You've got this.